Hi guys, how are you? Thank you for the comments on the videos. I have about 100 new subscribers, and I'll be honest with you, that bothers me. I mean, I'm thankful, but at the same time, it bothers me. I don't want, temptation of likes and clicks and comments, all that crap. And I'm not doing this to build my channel by any means. I'm just sharing with those who need to hear it, for those willing to hear, basically. One of the things I wanted to share was a couple of my experiences. For instance, people shared theirs about their experiences with the divine in the comments and stuff like that. I've mentioned way in the past that I've something on my head, excuse me, that I've had these graces since I was a kid, and my mother would constantly tell me, "Don't act weird." I would be able to pick up things and hold them, and I'd start talking about what I felt from what I was holding, who bought it, who it came from, things like that, who it was for. I mean, I lived in the era that everything was a hand-me-down. I don't think I got my first pair of new shoes until I was maybe 10, something like that. We were poor. But anyway, one of the things I thought I'd share, which trauma seems to bring on these graces, gifts of the spirit. They call it long suffering. And for those that don't know, I'm disabled. I'm blessed that I'm not in a wheelchair yet. Prayer keeps me going. I keep moving. I take lots of breaks. But anyway, one of the experiences that I had, and I mean, many of you can understand this. Okay, for instance, parents. When parents know when their kids are in trouble, they just know it. You see that switch go off in their head and boom, bang, they know something's wrong. Those are things you can't explain. And this was one of the many, but kind of the most profound for me was I kept being nudged to reach out to a friend of mine on Facebook. Hadn't spoke with him in quite some time. Anyway, it wasn't like we were buddies, but knew each other. And I saw she had been posting about being born again. And I knew she was sick, if you will. But I had this urge, being prodded, to reach out to her. And it wouldn't stop, so I finally reached out to her. Long story short, we decide to meet, coffee, breakfast, I take her out. And she's very apprehensive. And we were sharing some things before we got with each other, and shared some of my experiences with God. And, I told her, I said, look, I said, she understood the New Age community. And I did, but everything I've done in that has always been God-based, of the spirit. Rarely a physical matter or a 3D matter. And if I do get an answer for a 3D thing, it usually has some spiritual component. That's the only way I can do it. But anyway, I explained to her that I didn't know why I was there. And we had talked, like I said previously. And, she was telling me about her experience, and she had a heart attack and died. And she said she had a very profound experience with it. And I said, can I hold your hand while you're telling me? And she said, yes, because I get things from people. So she starts telling me about her experience. And, that it was so dark where she was. And the silence was maddening. And so now I start talking to her about her experience. I said, you didn't have a heart attack. I said, you decided to end it. You just wanted the pain to stop. This was a suicide attempt. And her eyes lit up. She goes, oh my God, no one knows that but my husband. And she starts telling me again about the darkness, and then I start telling her about her experience because I was there. The silence inside there was mind-numbing. It was deafening. And the darkness was so heavy and maddening almost. It was so overwhelming. And, I guess I'm there with her spirit for that matter. And I'm telling her about what she's going through in her mind. And, this is going on for a few minutes. And she's crying and I'm crying. And, she's telling me about, she goes, I just wanted it to end. I'm sorry I did what I did. I didn't know what I was doing. I just wanted the pain to end. The pain to end. And in this darkness, this extreme darkness, this hand, I call it the hand of God. It could have been the hand of an angel. I don't know. But this hand comes into the darkness. And the thing about it is, I know that if it wasn't for the darkness, I would have never been able to see this hand. It was that brilliant. But in this darkness, in this place where she was so dark that even the hand of the divine was shadowed, was dimmed. I mean, that's hard for me to imagine. And this hand reached down and goes like this and pulls her spirit out. And when that happens, I jump back and I take a deep breath and I can finally breathe. And I'll be honest with you, it screwed me up. Screwed me up bad. Excuse me if I swear, because it was something. And she said that's, she remembers taking her first breath when she revived her. And all these things I told her that were true, and I have no way of knowing. And, we were both sitting there crying in the restaurant. It probably looked like it was a bad breakup from other people watching us, and we were just friends. But she clamped up real tight after that, after the experience, and she was ashamed. I'm like, look, it's nothing to be ashamed of. I said, you're here. I said, that's through God's grace, you're here. But she was ashamed of what she did. And I was trying to reassure her she has she has a second chance. This is her, God's way of coming to her. Anyway, we end up leaving rather kind of quickly at that point. She's freaking out. And I'm kind of holding it together, And on my way home, I just start bawling. I start bawling. I don't even know how I got from where we were to my house. This had such a profound effect on me. And I'll be honest with you, it fucked me up for 7 to 10 days easy. I just couldn't get that image out of my head. I could not get it out of my head. Just about every moment in my mind, that's all I could see was this hand. And I called a friend on the way home and telling him about it because I couldn't get it out of my mind. I'm just bawling my eyes out. And this was something that I seen. I witnessed something so incredibly beautiful, so undeniably profound and holy that people don't get to see. You can only imagine the power in that, and the darkness, I can't explain it. I couldn't move. It was despair, hopelessness, without hope, and I mentioned before, without breath. And I realized later that breath really meant devoid of life. She was in such a bad... I don't know if that happens to people that commit suicide or what. I have no idea. But it haunted me for days. I couldn't get it out of my head. I witnessed something so beautiful. The mercy within that moment. I get choked up, so sorry. But the mercy in that moment of her soul being redeemed. It was a blessing. And I guess that's why God has given me some graces. So, when I say to people that I can feel that energy, and when you've been touched by an angel or by God, I saw it happen. It's just one of those things that no matter how many times you talk about it, it affects you. So that's my story of one of the graces I've been blessed to be given from God.